Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarane Trinadapi Sunichena Turar Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva Gatiranyata. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Happy Diwali, everyone. Happy Diwali. And I would like to read something to you which I received today from a good friend of mine, His Holiness Badrinarayana Swami. He sent me this, Origins of Diwali. What follows are 6 routes for the Diwali festival. In various parts of India, and according to local traditions, different routes are highlighted. It is a most auspicious day for multiple reasons. The following list is not in order of importance, for any event concerning the Lord and His devotees is full of meaning and spiritual blessings. Number 1, Diwali represents the victory of Lord Ram. According to the epic Ramayana, it was the new moon day of Kartik when Lord Ram, Sita, Lakshman, and Hanuman returned to Ayodhya after vanquishing Ravana and conquering Lanka. The citizens of Ayodhya decorated the entire city with earthen lamps to welcome Lord Ram. Number 2, Lord Vishnu rescued Lakshmi. On Diwali day, Lord Vishnu, in his 5th incarnation as Vamanadev, rescued Lakshmi from the prison of King Bali Maharaj. Number 3, in the Krishna-leela, Krishna vanquished the demon Naraka Asura. On the day preceding Diwali, Lord Krishna killed the Asura king Narakasura and rescued 16,000 princesses from his evil grip. The celebration of this event went on for 2 days, including Diwali Day. Number 4, Lakshmi Devi's appearance. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, incarnated on the new moon day Amavasya of the Kartik month during the churning of the ocean of milk, giving Diwali Day yet another association with Lakshmi Devi. Number 5, the return of the Pandavas. According to the great epic Mahabharata, it was Kartik Amavash when the Pandavas returned from their 12 years of banishment as a result of their defeat at the hands of the Kauravas in the crooked dice game. The citizens, who all loved the Pandavas dearly, celebrated the day by lighting earthen lamps. And number 6, in his book Vaishnava Toshini, Srila Sanatan Goswami writes that the incident of Krishna's breaking the pot of yogurt and being bound by his mother Yashoda took place on Diwali Day. So now today's class, since tomorrow is Anukut Govardhan, my class today will be a summary of the Govardhana-leela. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the Govardhana-leela comprises 4 chapters in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and here are summaries of each chapter. Lord Sri Krishna crushed the pride of Indra by prohibiting a sacrifice intended for Indra and instead initiating a substitute sacrifice in the worship of Govardhan Hill. When Sri Krishna saw the cowherder men busily preparing for the sacrifice to Indra, he inquired about it from their king, his father, Nanda Maharaj. Nanda explained that the rain given by Indra enables all living entities to maintain their lives, and therefore this sacrifice would be executed to satisfy Indradev. But Krishna responded. Krishna told his father, "It is because of karma alone that the living entities take birth in a certain body, experience varieties of happiness and suffering in that body, and then the living entity gives up that body as the karma pertaining to it runs out. Thus, it is karma alone that is our enemy, our friend, our guru, and our Lord. And Indra can do nothing to alter the happiness and distress of everyone, for everyone is tightly bound by his or her karmic reactions. The material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance bring about the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this earth. The clouds give forth rain when they are impelled by the mode of passion, and the cowherders prosper by protecting the cows. Furthermore, the cowherders proper residence is in the forest and on the hills. Therefore, my father, you should offer worship to the cows, the brahmanas, and Govardhan Hill. So Prabhupada comments in his Krishna book that this philosophy pointed out by Krishna is actually atheistic. The technical term, it's one of the 6 philosophies of the Vedas, is called karma mimamsa. This karma mimamsa, practically speaking, is how the world runs today. What is that philosophy? Whether there's a God or there's not a God doesn't really matter. You want to believe in God? Okay. You don't want to believe in God? That's okay. Just do your job. That's all that matters. You may be this, you may be that. Just do your job. So, the question arises, why did Krishna speak this atheistic karma mimamsa philosophy? And Prabhupada explains that Krishna specifically wanted to agitate Indra. Krishna detected that at this time, Indra had become puffed up with his power and prestige as king of heaven. So Krishna wanted to teach Indra a lesson. And so he specifically spoke like this just to get his father not to do the Indra Puja. The summary continues. And so there was a discussion back and forth, and finally Nanda Maharaj gave in to Krishna. So just see how powerful is Krishna's attraction. That Nanda Maharaj was actually philosophically correct that they should do the Indra Puja. But because Krishna was so insistent, and because Nanda Maharaj had so much love for Krishna, he gave in. Because Nanda Maharaj also offered, well, you know what? We can do a separate sacrifice like you're speaking. Let's first do the Indra Puja, and then we'll do what you suggest. And Krishna, being very intelligent, said, no, there's not enough time, not enough money. So Nanda Maharaj relented. After Krishna spoke, he arranged for the cowherder men to worship Govardhan with the paraphernalia collected for the sacrifice to Indra. Krishna then assumed a huge, transcendental form, unprecedented, and devoured all the food and other offerings presented to Govardhan. And he did so, he proclaimed to the cowherder community that although they had worshipped Indra for so long, Indra had never appeared in person, whereas Govardhan himself had now manifested before their very eyes and had eaten all their offerings of foodstuffs. Therefore, they should now all offer obeisances to Govardhan Hill. Then, Lord Krishna joined the cowherders in offering obeisances to his own newly assumed form. So what happened was that they started to circumambulate Govardhan Hill, and Krishna assumed a gigantic separate form on top of Govardhan Hill, and that form ate all the offerings. Meanwhile, 7-year-old Krishna is also circumambulating the hill and bowing down to this huge form of Krishna. And at that time it's revealed that Govardhan Hill and Krishna are same in identity. Now we go to the next chapter. Lord Indra was overcome by anger when the residents of Vrindavan canceled his sacrifice. And so he tried to punish them by sending forth devastating rain to Vrindavan. And Lord Sri Krishna protected Gokul by lifting Govardhan Hill, and for 7 days using it as an umbrella to ward off the rain. So, Krishna is 7 years old, and he held up the hill for 7 days and 7 nights. And as my picture shows, he's with his left hand holding it up by his pinky only. This reveals Krishna's supreme power. 7-year-old boy holding up a mountain. And for 7 days, using Govardhan Hill as an umbrella to ward off the rain, Indra, angered at the disruption of the sacrifice meant for him, and falsely presuming himself the supreme controller, spoke. People often give up the pursuit of transcendental knowledge, which is the very means for self-realization, and they imagine that they can cross over the ocean of material existence by mundane fruitive sacrifices. And so similarly, these cowherder men have become intoxicated by pride and have offended me by taking shelter of an ignorant, ordinary child, Krishna. So this is interesting. At this time, Indra does not understand who Krishna actually is. Look what he says. Taking shelter of an ignorant, ordinary child. Indra should have known, but because of his pride, he could not recognize that this 7-year-old boy was actually his Lord and Master. To remove the supposed pride of the residents of Braja, Indra sent the clouds known as Sangvartaka, whose function is to facilitate the destruction of the world. Indra sent them to harass the Brajavasis with downpours of rain and hail. The cowherd community was very disturbed by this and approached Krishna for shelter. Understanding that this trouble was the work of Indra, Krishna decided to smash to pieces Indra's false prestige, and thus he lifted Govardhan Hill with one hand. He then invited the entire cowherder community to take shelter in the dry space between the mountain. For 7 consecutive days, Krishna held up Govardhan Hill until Indra finally understood Krishna's mystic power and ordered the clouds to withdraw. When the cowherder villagers emerged from beneath the mountain, Krishna put Govardhan Hill back in its proper place. The cowherders were now in ecstasy, and they showed loving symptoms such as the flowing of tears and bodily hairs standing on end. They embraced Krishna and offered him benedictions according to their respective positions, while the demigods in heaven rained down flowers and sang the Lord's praises. 3rd chapter. Nanda Maharaj then described Krishna's opulences to the cowherder men, as Nanda had once heard them from Gargamuni at the time of Krishna's name-giving ceremony. The cowherder men, unaware of Lord Krishna's power, were amazed to see his various extraordinary activities. The men approached Nanda Maharaj and told them that after seeing how Krishna, a boy only 7 years old, had lifted a mountain, how Krishna had previously killed the demoness Putana when he was 1 month old, how Krishna generated extreme attraction in the hearts of everyone in Vrindavan, the men had now become doubtful and bewildered about how Krishna could possibly have taken birth in the unsuitable environment of a cowherder community. Nanda replied by relating to them what Gargamuni had told him about Sri Krishna. Gargamuni had said that in the previous 3 ages, Nanda's boy had manifested himself in white, red, and yellow forms, whereas now, in the Dwapara Yuga, Krishna had assumed his darkish blue form, Krishna Rupa. And because Krishna descended as the son of Vasudeva, one of his many names is Vasudeva. And Krishna has innumerable other names, indicating his many qualities and activities. At Krishna's name-giving ceremony, Gargamuni had predicted that Krishna, number 1, would prevent all sorts of catastrophes in Gokula. Number 2, spread unlimited auspiciousness. And number 3, increase the ecstasy of the cowherder men and women. In a previous age, Krishna had provided protection for the saintly Brahmanas when they were harassed by low-class dacoits and there was no proper ruler in society. Just as the demons can never defeat the demigods in the higher planets, who always have Lord Vishnu on their side, no enemy can ever defeat those who love Krishna. In his affinity for his devotees and in his opulence and power, Krishna would be just like Lord Narayana himself. Overjoyed and awestruck by Gargamuni's statements, the cowherder men concluded that Krishna must be an empowered representative of the Supreme Lord Narayan, and thus they worshipped him and Nanda Maharaj. Now, in studying this particular section more carefully, we must always remember the actions of Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the spiritual potency, and as Prabhupada explains, Yogamaya partially reveals Krishna and partially remains hidden. As we see, Mother Yashoda, twice she looked in Krishna's mouth and saw the whole cosmic manifestation. And one time, when she saw the cosmic manifestation, she also saw herself and Krishna in Krishna's mouth. So at that time, Yashoda was thinking, oh my God, Krishna must be God. But then Yogamaya comes, and Yashoda thinks, nah, this must be some kind of hallucination. Krishna is just my child. Same way here with Nanda Maharaj. All the other cowherder men are practically saying and agreeing with what Gargamuni told Nanda Maharaj, that practically speaking, Krishna is God himself. But what happens is, Nanda Maharaj says, Krishna may be whatever he is, but all I know, Krishna is my son, and I have to take care of him, and I have to instruct him. So that's how Yoga Maya acts. For a second, Krishna reveals himself as God, and then the next minute, no, he's just an ordinary child. Now the final chapter of this Govardhana-leela. A Surabhi cow and Indra Dev himself, having seen the amazing power of Lord Krishna, performed the Abhishek ceremony for Krishna. Ashamed of having attacked Vrindavan with a violent storm, Indra secretly came before Lord Krishna, offered obeisances, and praised him. Indra stated that although Sri Krishna is never caught in the current of material illusion, which is simply born of ignorance, Krishna nevertheless accepts a human-like body and performs various activities in order to establish religious principles and chastise the wicked. By this means, Krishna crushes the false prestige of those who presume themselves great controllers. Indra went on to declare that Krishna is Father, Guru, and Lord of all living entities, and that in the form of time, Krishna is the agent of their punishment. Satisfied with Indra's prayers, Krishna told Indra that he had stopped the Indra sacrifice so that Indra, puffed up as he was with false pride, would now remember the Lord's position. Persons intoxicated by material opulence never see Krishna standing before them with the rod of punishment in his hand. Therefore, if Lord Krishna desires the actual good fortune of some person, Krishna brings him or her down from one's position of opulence. Lord Krishna thus ordered Indra to return to his proper position in heaven, but to serve there without egotism. Indra, along with the cow Surabhi, then performed a bathing ceremony for Krishna using the water of the heavenly Ganges and the milk of Mother Surabhi. Indra and the cow took this opportunity to bestow upon the Lord the name Govinda, and the demigods showered flowers and recited various prayers. So now, I would like to go deeper into Indra's prayers to Krishna because they're very instructive. Because in one pastime, there are many lessons to be learned. So these are Indra's prayers. O Lord, your transcendental form, which is a manifestation of pure goodness, is undisturbed by change. It is shining with knowledge and is devoid of passion and ignorance. In you does not exist the mighty flow of the modes of material nature, which are all based on illusion and ignorance. How then could there exist in you the symptoms of an ignorant person, such as greed, lust, anger, and envy, which are produced by one's previous involvement in material existence, and which cause one to become further entangled in material existence? And yet, as the Supreme Lord, you impose punishment to protect religious principles and curb down the wicked. My Lord, you are the Father and spiritual master of this entire universe, and you are also its supreme controller. You are insurmountable time, imposing punishment upon the sinful for their own benefit. Indeed, in all your various incarnations, which are selected by your own free will, you act decisively to remove the false pride of those who presume themselves masters of this world. Why, even fools like me, who proudly think themselves universal lords, quickly give up their conceit and directly take to the path of the spiritually progressive when they see that you are fearless even in the face of death. Thus, you punish the mischievous only to instruct them. Engrossed in pride over my ruling power and ignorant of your majesty, I offended you. O Lord, please, may you forgive me, for my intelligence was bewildered. But let my consciousness never again be so impure. My Lord, you are transcendental, and you descend into this world to destroy the warlords who burden the earth and create many terrible disturbances. O Lord, you simultaneously act for the welfare of all those who faithfully serve your lotus feet. Obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the greatest soul, and you are all-pervading, and you reside in the hearts of all. O you, my obeisances unto you, Krishna, chief of the Yadu dynasty. Unto you, who assumes transcendental bodies according to the desires of his devotees. Unto you, whose form is itself pure consciousness. Unto you, who is everything. Unto you, who is the seed of everything. And unto you, who is the soul of all creatures, I offer my obeisances. My dear Lord, when my sacrifice was disrupted, I became fiercely angry because of false pride. Thus I tried to destroy your cowherder community with severe rain and wind. O Lord, you have shown mercy to me by shattering my false pride and defeating my attempt to punish Vrindavan. O Lord, you are supreme. You are the supreme spiritual master. You are the supreme soul. I have now come for shelter. Now we come to the last part of today's narration of Govardhana. Shukadeva Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, after Krishna had lifted Govardhana hill and thus protected the inhabitants of Braja from the terrible rainfall, Surabhi, the mother of the cows, came from her planet to see Krishna, and she was accompanied by Indra. Indra was very much ashamed of having offended the Lord. Approaching Krishna in a solitary place, Indra fell down and lay his helmet, whose effulgence was as brilliant as the sun, upon the Lord's lotus feet. Indra had now heard and seen the transcendental power of omnipotent Krishna. Indra's false pride in being the Lord of the three worlds was thus defeated. Holding his hands together in supplication, Indra prayed to the Lord, which we just heard those prayers. Thus glorified by Indra, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, smiled and then spoke to Indra in a voice resonant like the clouds. You'll notice many times in the Bhagavatam, when Krishna or Lord Narayan speak, the description is that his voice is as deep as the rumbling of clouds. So here's what Krishna said to Indra after Indra offered his prayers. My dear Indra, it was out of mercy that I stopped the sacrifice meant for you. For you were greatly intoxicated by your opulence as King of Heaven. And so I wanted you to always remember me. A man blinded by intoxication with power and opulence cannot see me nearby holding the rod of punishment in my hand. But if I desire one's real welfare, I drag him or her down from one's materially fortunate position. Indra, you may go now. Execute my order and remain in your appointed position as King of Heaven. But you should be sober and without false pride. So Krishna's instructions there are good for everyone. They're good for everyone. We have an expression here in the American language. Pride comes before the fall. So that is something Lord Chaitanya warns every one of us. Lord Chaitanya warns us. Trinadapi sunichena tarar iva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should be always meek and humble. One should be more tolerant than the tree. One should offer all respects to every living entity. And one should not be concerned about others praising oneself. Shukadeva Goswami said, Mother Surabhi, along with her progeny, the cows, then offered obeisances to Lord Krishna, respectfully requesting his attention. That gentle Surabhi cow addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was present before her as a cowherder boy. Mother Surabhi said, O Krishna, greatest of mystics, O soul and origin of the universe, you are the master of the world, and by your grace, O infallible Lord, we have you as our master. You are our worshipful deity. Therefore, O Lord of the universe, for the benefit of the cows, brahmanas, demigods, and all other saintly persons, please become our Indra. As ordered by Lord Brahma, we shall perform your bathing ceremony to coronate you as our Indra. O soul of the universe, you descend to this world in order to relieve the burden of the earth. Shukadeva Goswami then said, having thus appealed to Lord Krishna, Mother Surabhi performed Krishna's abhishek using her own milk, and Indra, ordered by his mother Aditi and other mothers of the demigods, anointed the Lord with heavenly Ganga water, which was from the trunk of Indra's elephant carrier, Airavata. Thus, in the company of the demigods and great sages, Indra coronated Lord Krishna, the descendant of Dasharha, and gave him the name Govinda. Meanwhile, Tumburu, Narada, and other Gandharvas, along with the Vadyadharas, Siddhas, and Charanas, came there to sing the glories of Lord Hari. And those glories purified the entire world. The wives of the demigods, filled with joy, danced together in the Lord's honor. The most eminent demigods chanted the praises of Krishna and scattered wonderful showers of flowers all around him. All three worlds felt supreme satisfaction, and the cows drenched the surface of the earth with their milk. Rivers flowed with various kinds of tasty liquids. Trees oozed honey. Edible plants came to maturity without cultivation. And the hills gave forth jewels formerly hidden in their interiors. O Parikshit, beloved of the Kuru dynasty, upon the ceremonial bathing of Lord Krishna, all living creatures, even those cruel by nature, became entirely free of enmity. After Indra had ceremonially bathed Lord Govinda, who is the master of the cows and the cowherder community, King Indra took the Lord's permission and, surrounded by the demigods and other higher beings, returned to his heavenly abode. So now we will sing Damodar Ashtakam. Happy Diwali. As we heard in the beginning, this pastime of Damodar-leela took place 5,000 years ago on Diwali Day. As Prabhupada writes, Krishna had been previously very, very naughty, stealing butter and yogurt from the neighbors along with Balaram. And there were complaints lodged against Krishna by the neighbors. So on Diwali Day, Yashoda was thinking, maybe the reason Krishna is going to others' houses is because he's not satisfied with what he's getting at home. So Yashoda decided, I am going to make special butter and yogurt today. And Yashoda had special cows that were fed very special grass. And the grass from that, the cows would give off a milk which was extraordinarily wonderful. So that was what Yashoda was doing. Namamishwarang Sachit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Biyorukalan Davamanam Paramrishnam Atyantato Drutya Gopya Dantang Muhur Netra Yugmam Rajantang Karamboja Yugmena Satanka Netram Muhushvasa Kampa Tirekanka Kanta Stita Grivam Damodarang Bhakti Badham Idrik Svalilabir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Kadiyeshitagyeshu Bhaktairchi Tatvang Punak Prematastam Shatavriti Vande Varangdeva Mokshamna Mokshavadhingva Nachanyang Grinehang Vareshat Aphiha Ida Deva Purnata Gopala Balang Sadame Manas Yavirastam Kimanyai Idangke Mukam Bojam Atyanta Nilaya Ritang Kuntalai Snigda Roktaishya Gopya Muhushchumbitam Bimba Roktadarang Me Manasya Virastam Alam Laksha Labhai Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabdi Maganam Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinang Bhattanu Priyanesha Mamagyam Ed Yakshi Drishya Kuberatmajo Baddha Murtyaiva Yadvat Tvaya Mochitao Bhakti Bhajao Kritao Cha Gata Prema Bhakting Swakang Me Prayachcha Namokshe Grahomesti Damoda Reha Namaste Strudamne Spuradipti Damne Tvadiyo Darayatha Vishvasya Damne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai Namo Nanta Leelaya Devaya Tubhyam Namamishwaram Sachid Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Biolukalad Davamanam Paramrishtam Atyantato Drutya Gopya. I bow down to the Supreme Controller, whose form is composed of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, whose earrings play and swing, who is splendorously manifest in Gokula, but who in fear of Mother Yashoda gets down from the wooden grinding mortar and runs away. However, the Gopi Sri Yashoda, very much quickly chasing after him, catches him from the back. Crying again and again, with very fearful eyes, rubbing his two eyes with his two lotus hands, quickly breathing, sighing, and trembling, while the pearl necklaces and other ornaments which are situated on his neck also move. And Krishna's neck is marked with 3 lines, just like a conch shell. And so I offer my humble obeisances unto Lord Damodar, who has a rope tied around his belly, but actually he is only bound by devotion. Displaying childhood pastimes such as this Damodar-leela and others. In this way, Krishna immerses his own family and other residents of Gokula in a pool of bliss by such pastimes. And to those desirous of knowing his majesty, Damodar makes it known his quality of being conquered only by his loving devotees, who are devoid of such majestic knowledge. And so again, with love and devotion, hundreds and hundreds of times, I praise Lord Damodar. O Lord, I do not pray for the boon of moksha, either as in personal liberation, or even the highest pinnacle of liberation, entering the realm of Sri Vaikuntha Loka. Nor do I desire anything else from you. I know you can bestow any boon, but O Lord, may this divine bodily form of yours as a young cowherder boy here in Vrindavan, may that always be manifest in my heart. For what is the use of other things? O Lord, your lotus-like face, surrounded by curling locks of hair, which are very dark blue, soft, and glossy, and is also tinted reddish. Your lotus-like face is also kissed again and again by the gopi Sri Yashoda, who has lips red like the bimba fruit. So in my heart, may all of this be manifest, because there is no need for me to request the attainment of millions of other boons which are simply useless. O Lord, Deva, O Divine Lord, Damodar, O Lord whose belly is bound with a rope, O Ananta, O limitless Lord, O Vishnu, O all-pervading Lord, Prabhu, O my Master, I bow down to you. Alas, I am immersed in a network of miseries while in this material ocean of repeated birth and death. So please accept me and rain down your merciful glance upon this very fallen and ignorant fool. O supremely independent Lord, please become perceptible to my eyes. The two sons of Kuvera, namely Nalakuvara and Manigriva, were delivered by you when your divine form was bound with ropes to the grinding mortar. And since they were cursed by the sage Narada to take birth as twin Arjuna trees, they were thus liberated by you, and you made them also the recipients of devotional service. O Lord, please give unto me your own loving devotion, for I do not have any enthusiasm for liberation. O Krishna, obeisances to you, obeisances unto the rope around your waist, obeisances unto your splendorous effulgent abode, obeisances unto your splendorous belly, that belly which is the shelter of the entire universe in the form of Govardhana-leela Vishnu. Obeisances unto your most beloved Sri Radhika. Obeisances unto your limitless sportive pastimes. Obeisances unto your transcendental nature. Obeisances unto you. I would like to sing the Nrsimha prayers because my best friend is in great anxiety. My best friend is being severely tested by Krishna. So I want you all to join me where you are and pray to Lord Nrsimha to deliver my best friend. Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlada Dayane Hiranya Kashipur Vaksha Shilatanga Nakalaye Ito Nrsimha Padato Nrsimha Yato Yato Yanitato Nrsimha Bahi Nrsimha Vidaye Nrsimha Nrsimham Adim Sharanam Prapadye. Nusringamading Sharanam Prapadye. Nusringamading Sharanam Prapadye. Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahadi Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadish Jai Jagadish Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Happy Diwali to all of you. You can now unmute your microphones. I turn the program over to